And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. We're a day late, Matt, but not a dollar short. In fact, for the first time ever, for the first time in over 200 episodes, it's a big special auspicious occasion because we are coming from not one, but two places on the internet.
I bit the bullet and got Streamlabs, which means we can now stream on multiple services. So we're seeing it on YouTube and Twitch, and we can stream to like Facebook and TikToks and all of that shit as well.
Matt has clearly been having a lot of fun experimenting with this because, as you can see, he's completely redone the whole aesthetic for the show, and it looks really good, actually.
I'm probably going to keep playing with it because I just keep finding little like, oh, this looks good. Oh, this looks good. Oh, this looks good.
This is the mystique stage of the show where we're going to keep transforming and changing and becoming. It looks really good. I like the logo. And in fact, you were telling me this actually comes with like a stream store and everything too. So that's pretty cool.
It's good you reminded me. I wanted to bring that up to actual people on here because I want to put the link in the description. There's like, with Streamlabs, they have their own merch store, and it's actually run quite well in that you just like upload your stuff and then you can choose the price for which it's set, and depending on the price it depends on like what your cut is and everything. So like last night I was just like going ham on it and just like putting random merch up with our logo, and I'm going to do more designs up a little later on, but that we've got like coffee cups, shirts, I think some mouse pads, tote bags.
Cool.
Lots of cool stuff.
Because whenever I heard stuff like that, I always thought like, oh, it's going to be like Redbubble, it's going to be like TeePublic, where it's like it's good but not great. But I've seen what you've thrown together already, and I'm like, oh, cool. This is stuff that like I would actively buy myself and take to a convention.
Yeah, well, like the how you go about like uploading the stuff, it gives you so much options on like where do you want it placed on the item, like do you want like an extra embroidery on the thing, and
that is huge.
What colors do you want?
That's super huge. None of those other places give you that option. So yeah, actually kind of worth it. But thank you everyone for coming and joining us tonight. I know we didn't do a show last week. I swear Matt and this fan base is super awesome. When I'm like, man, I don't want to work Sunday night. I want to watch AEW and eat chicken wings. And everyone's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, everyone kind of agreed with that.
They're like, thanks for not making us choose, Joel, between watching the pay-per-view ourselves and having to watch you. So that's what I did with my night, and that's what my week was kind of building up to. What about you, Matt? What have you been up to?
Not all that much. I finished up the Mass Effect trilogy, the Legendary Edition. I just finished Mass Effect 3.
I just started. I just got that for myself the other night, and I was actually filming myself recording it for a whole other project. But man, going back to Mass Effect 1 is a trip because I never played it the first time. It is like a whole other game.
It's pretty good, and yeah, it's a product of its time though.
There's some jank on there. Like there's not. You always know in a shooter where it's like, okay, do I get like good reaction? Do I get like good haptic feedback for my bullets? You don't really get that there. It's all a little weird and a little floaty.
Yeah.
Thank God the storytelling and the characters and the voice acting are still there.
Oh, across all three games, like the storytelling is just some of the best RPGs I've ever played.
It is, and I'm glad so many people are going back and playing it for the first time, and a lot of people reevaluating it and touching it again since like the first time since 3, because obviously Mass Effect 3 was like a big like, you know, friggin' blow up from the fan community. Like, it wasn't the ending we wanted, and I'm like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I could see why they were angry at it, because they wanted probably something a bit bigger. But yeah, I quite enjoyed what they did with the endings of number 3 and like what you could choose. I think that this one had because they did like an extended cut.
Yes, they did.
And I'm pretty sure this is what this version of number 3 is in this enhanced edition.
I do believe I heard that too. Also, it's not Andromeda, which everyone forgets Andromeda. I forgot Andromeda existed.
Good.
And BioWare wants you to forget too, because they're kind of like, that's a mulligan. That didn't happen.
Yeah,
we're making another Mass.
It's why they're coming out with another Mass Effect, and it's going back to like Shepard's story and everything.
Yeah, we're making another one in the future at some point. Man, it's funny. They're doing that and a new Dragon Age at the same time.
I really want them to do the first 3 Dragon Ages, Dragon Age 1, 2, and Inquisition, It like what they did with this Legendary Edition. If they could do that, I would go back, because I haven't played number 1 and 2 since they were new.
I played 1 and 2 in the lead up to Dragon Age Inquisition because I knew everyone was so stoked on it and everything, and that was like one of the first real things I played from start to finish on a computer and everything.
Yep.
So that was pretty fun for me. And I know a lot of people don't like 2 as much as they like 1. I don't mind 2, actually. I thought 2 had a lot of fun characters in it. And again, you can see the Mass Effectization where it's like, oh, well, Hawk will just be our shepherd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can absolutely see like where they've taken the stories for like the original Mass Effect and changed them and just added in these new characters. It's like, this is a shepherd. This is your Garrus. This is your Liara.
Yeah, that's totally how... I wonder if they're going to do the same thing, because it seems like they're making a new Mass Effect and a new Dragon Age pretty close together.
Well, the new Mass Effect looks to be a continuation of the story from Mass Effect 3, because in the trailer thing we got, I'm fairly certain Liara is in it.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But believe it or not, everyone, this is a comic book show, and we do actually have some comic book news, some fairly big comic book news, too.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of solicitations dropped, a lot of other things dropped, and also, hey, we got a big trailer for the Eternals.
We did, yeah.
How about that trailer, Matt? Was not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, it was completely different. Like, well, you compare it to like the Shang-Chi trailer, which we got recently as well, and how that was like quite full of action and everything, like what you'd usually see in like a Marvel trailer. But yeah, this one was like completely different.
I dare say they almost try to sell you on like an art house version of a superhero movie where it's like, oh, everything's kind of desaturated, like, oh, we're seeing all these civilizations, and there's a little like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but now like the monolith is flying towards people and everything. I'm like, oh wow, they're really selling a different type of movie here, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I assumed they were going to go full Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like, how can we make the most fun version of this?
Yeah, I guess like we've got that already with the Guardians, so they want to do like the opposite of that and have that like that's like the Guardians is like their space comedy stuff, whereas this is more serious sci-fi.
I am again endlessly reminded of Highlander, and also reminded too that the Highlanders were also aliens. That was also how they explained that.
We don't talk about the second Highlander film.
We don't talk about The Quickening, but what if we did it, but it was good? Seems to be the thing. Yeah, I mean, all the different actors and performers here look like $1 million, don't they?
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, we see Jon Snow for a minute there. Who, again, I don't know if they've fully explained yet. Is Black Knight going to be an Eternal in this, or is Black Knight just a guy with a magic sword?
Yeah, I would have to say... I'd like him if he wasn't, just because then it's like, oh, he's just another Eternal.
Yeah, again, if he's...
It's something different.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he's the POV character in Eternals and he falls in love, obviously, with the woman he falls in love with, and he sees their kind of society and how they work through, the eyes of an outsider? That would be kind of interesting.
I think that's where the movie's going, because I think he's like in a relationship with Cersei, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then, obviously Cersei and Icarus have a relationship anyway, so I guess there's probably some sort of love triangle thing going on there or something.
Gotta have a live triangle. I like the kid they got playing Sprite there, because obviously Sprite in the comics has been male, has been female, and is the Eternal who is cursed to be a child for some reason by the Celestials.
Yep.
That's my favorite sort of cosmic god bullshit with like, and you will be a child forever. Why? Because for reasons. We thought it would be funny. So take that,
for
kid. That's why. Literally for the lulz. Also, too, you got to wonder how close they're going to hem to the Eternal stories that everyone knows. We saw, the Celestials in the concept art for this, didn't we?
Yeah. We saw the big one. Oh, what's his name? The big main Celestial. Yeah. I can't remember what their names are.
Are we thinking that they're going to be like there in a flashback, or are we thinking they're going to be like the straight up villains for this? Because we haven't seen much on the Deviants so far, and those are really like the only Eternal bad guys.
Well, I would think they might be doing it like how the the current comic run is, in that the Eternals come back, the Celestials are all gone. So what do the Eternals do, whose sole job was to protect the Celestials? What do they do now when there's nothing to protect?
That's true, and that way you could have them fight each other too. Who's the one, the King of Fire and Nightmares, a Druid, whatever the hell.
Yes.
Yeah, Drew, because he's sometimes a bad guy too, right? He sometimes goes against them, so I could definitely see that being like a schism between the Eternals. He wants to lead them in one direction, but Akaris wants to lead them to another.
Yes. Thank you from A Carter, $4.99. Welcome to YouTube Live. Keep up the good work. Thank you. It's a long time coming.
Yes, thank you for the welcome. You are our first, YouTube donation to the show. Everyone, be sure to write that down on the TV Tropes page in the wiki that A. Carter was first.
Add it to the Wikipedia.
Add it to the Wikipedia when we get it. Yes, you didn't know that Matt and I exist in the Star Wars universe, but we do.
It's canon to 13 ABY.
Yep. You know how you got jizz whalers who do music? Well, we are jizz casters is what we are. Just out here casting the jizz all day, every day. Also, yeah, the chat bringing up Selma Hayek as kind of a redone version of Ajax, or Ajax, I guess.
Looks great. I like they added, I don't know whether it was in Eternals lore before, but in the recent run they added in the fact that, like, when Eternals are reborn, they can choose their form. So it's like, yeah, you can, this form, she's Selma Hayek, and, 20 years down the line, if they want to do another film or something, it could be someone else.
That's the perfect out for it, where it's like, look, if you're Eternals anyway, and you're in a constant circle of death and rebirth, why can't you be anyone you want? Why can't we go a little more international and colorblind with the casting? And I think the best version of that is, of course, Kumail Nanjiani, who gets to be, instead of a Hollywood movie star, which he was in the comics, now he's a Bollywood superstar.
Yep, Kingo is a Bollywood star.
Which is actually pretty friggin' clever, and we see that there actually looks to be like a big Bollywood dance number in there.
It's pretty cool.
I'm like, all right, maybe this will shut up the people who are like, oh, all Marvel movies are the same. They all do the same thing. Well, that one had a Bollywood dance number in it, so... Ain't never seen that one before, just so you know. But yeah, Eternals looks interesting. I know some people complained about the costumes. Like, oh, the costumes aren't bright enough, which, again, I'm reminded of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's like, yeah, you all complained the costumes weren't bright enough there, and then you saw the movie and you didn't care anymore.
Yeah, I think they look fine.
I don't have a huge problem with them. I know people are very protective of their Kirby art, and especially after something like Thor Ragnarok, where that one was just a pastel, technicolor, orgy for the eyes.
Yeah. There's also who's to say we're not going to get any of that in here. This could be like one of those things where it's like, this is the Eternals like modernizing themselves, whereas they had the Kirby costumes but in the past.
Exactly. There's nothing that says you won't get there eventually, or you won't get some sort of, reference to that in some form, which I think they will. I mean, come on, this is Marvel. They always do shit like that eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, maybe all the stuff we saw is like, no, these are the Eternals, down on their luck and everything, but, they want to bring back the color and the light.
Icarus wants to get his long hair back.
He's got to get the long hair back. Yeah, he does. Good musical choice, too. Again, Marvel always with the needle drops here. I would not have thought it's the end of the world, but it's actually a solid choice, because it's like, yeah, when you're Eternal, the end of the world never comes. Or you do see the end of the world, but it doesn't matter, because you're just going to be reborn every time.
You see the end of the world, but for everyone else, not yourself.
Which is a very interesting and very melancholy take on it, which is why it's a sad song. Because, yeah, it's, again, to bring back Highlander, who wants to live forever, who wants to love forever.
Yeah.
That sounds really tedious. And, of course, I guess the other big thing about this trailer, we would be remiss to not bring it up. So many people on social media, I'm sure you saw, were quick to say, well, if the Eternals have been around this long, why didn't they do anything about Thanos or all this other stuff? And the big answer I kept hearing that I couldn't help but agree with is like, maybe watch the movie and they'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. They look to be talking about that, because there's that stinger at the end where they talk about who's going to lead the Avengers now that Captain America and Iron Man are gone.
So clearly they're up to date on things.
Yeah.
Have you saying people are comparing them to the New Gods? Well, yeah, because they're created by the same guy.
They're the Marvel version of it. They're the same as Darkseid is the Marvel version of Thanos and vice versa.
Same guy who was clearly working through a lot of the same ideas multiple times, because you can even put the hey, a royal family of superpowered people. Isn't that kind of like Inhumans? Didn't he work on Kirby did work on that too? You don't say. It's like one guy's desperately trying to work out the same idea. Oh, the Unimind too. We kind of got a quick glimpse of what the Unimind might look like in the movie.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Because when 3 or more Inhumans come together, they create a big brain. And the big brain be good. I hope it's just like that. I hope it's just the Futurama brain. Me, the big brain, am leaving now for no reason. But yeah, there's your Eternals trailer, everyone. I enjoyed it.
Looks pretty good. I have to imagine the next, because this was only a teaser trailer. I have to imagine the official trailer will be a bit more action heavy, reveal a bit more.
And again, it's really more of a mood piece. We still have no idea what the movie's actually about.
Yep.
Could be about anything. Who knows? All right, next up, what do we got here? Ooh, some Suicide Squad news. DC has announced they're going to be doing a series of variant covers to tie on in with the brand new James Gunn movie.
Yeah, and they all look fantastic.
They do. In fact, it even gets a little bigger than that. Apparently, DC is just rolling out the damn red carpet for the Suicide Squad in the next coming months to coincide with the movie, because we got these variant covers, we got a bunch of new Suicide Squad stories we're going to talk about, but also they're reprinting a bunch of classic Ostrander Suicide Squad stories. Yeah. Which is awesome, because so many of those stories have been out of print and hard to get, so I am super, super stoked.
Yeah, and to collect them all together as well is very handy.
Absolutely, and they're also re-releasing Trial by Fire again, because that's one story that they just can't stop.
Well, I think that's the story that this movie is kind of based around, yeah.
So they're saying, yeah, I guess we'll see how much it's based on when we actually get there. But, yeah, that's awesome. If you're a Suicide Squad fan like myself, now is maybe the best time. In fact, I would say they've probably done more for the Suicide Squad now than they did when that last movie came out.
Oh, much more. I don't remember any of this sort of stuff happening with that last film. I think they
came
got
out with a couple
covers.
Extra.
Yeah, and that's about it.
And, I think we got, a couple extra books, the Secret Files of the Suicide Squad, but it wasn't big. This is big, which makes me think the Warner Brothers bigwigs and the people who actually hand out the money are oh, no, wait, this one's actually going to be a hit, though. Let's actually get behind this one.
This is what happens when we put competent people on it.
Yeah, people might actually like this one, and I'm super stoked for this one. If you haven't read Trial by Fire or any of the old Ostrander stuff that they're collecting, now is definitely the time to get in there.
Yeah, the movie comes out in August, so it's very close.
Hard to believe, man. These last year and some change.
I know.
have just drifted right by. It's June. It's man. This is it ever going to feel normal again, Matt? Is anything ever going to feel normal? I'm sure it has to be when we're all vaxxed. I'm one vax down, so I'm closer. What is it? Ontario opens back up on the 2nd.
Yep.
I don't know, man, but hey, there's something fun to look forward to. Suicide Squad. Now, again, am I dreaming this? But they did say that they're doing a simultaneous release, right? This is going to the app and going to theaters.
Yep. It's going to HBO Max as well.
Hey, if all works out, I will say this: I will happily go see Suicide Squad in the theaters if I'm allowed to.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to see it in the theaters.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to, I would happily make this the first movie I go out to see again. I'll mask up. I'll do whatever I need to. I'm so jealous of all our American friends on Twitter and everything. Oh, we saw a movie today. Oh, we went out and did this today because we're all vaccinated and was allowed more attendance. I'm oh, good for you. You lucky bastards. Have some fun for me, why don't you? Keeping on the Suicide Squad train, and we absolutely were, coming this fall, again, to coincide with Suicide Squad Mania, the Suicide Squad book is having itself another crossover, this time with the Swamp Thing book.
Yeah, which is strange, because the Swamp Thing book is, 10 issues long?
Something like that. Which I guess, is it going to be done by the time this one starts? Is this just like, hey, what is it? They really wanted to use Suicides, or they really wanted to use Swamp Thing, and now they can? I wonder.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I think, yeah, it's happening around, like, the midpoint of the book, so, yeah, maybe it's just, like, a quick tie-in, and then it's back to whatever MV has in store for the character. Because it's a new Swamp Thing. It's not Alec Holland anymore.
Yeah, you were telling me about this one. But, yeah, so it looks like the Suicide Squad, for some reason, is sent to hunt down Swamp Thing. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's issue 6 of 10. Mm-hmm. Wow, so it's a mini-series that's going to have a Suicide Squad crossover. Crazy.
Yeah, all these books seem to be getting some type of Suicide Squad crossover, like with the current team now. You got the Teen Titans one. I'm fairly certain we're getting some Superman stuff a little later on.
Yeah, they want the team to do their rounds, apparently. They want everyone to know, we love the Squad. We've always loved them. What are you talking about? They're just our fun new friends, and we think you should know about them, no matter what you're reading. That's what we're thinking. But, yeah, that sounds interesting. Again, I'm really liking that new Suicide Squad book. I didn't love the Titans half of the crossover, but that's not their fault.
No, it just looked like the two creators didn't really talk with each other about what was happening.
No, they didn't. We'll talk about that more when we talk about what we read this week, but I think that book finally broke me for that series. Where I'm like, right, I might be done with this now. I gave you 3 issues, but yeah, Suicide Squad versus Swamp Thing. That's a fun mix. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely, and we're not done with new DC titles yet because, again, DC had their big solicitations this week, and a brand new Batman book, Matt. I know it's been a few minutes since we've talked about it.
A few seconds, yes.
a few seconds. I know it was a rough couple seconds there without a new Batman book being announced, but don't worry, everyone, the wait is over. The drought is done. You can drink good again because Batman World is coming out. World. Now, tell us about World, Matt. What do you know about Batman the World?
Well, it's basically what the title suggests. It's Batman stories told from around the world, 15 stories told through 15 different countries with 15 different writers from these countries.
Now, what 2 countries were exempt from the world, Matt, in this situation?
I don't actually know, but I'm gonna hazard a guess and think it was something starting with an I and something starting with a P.
No, actually, there's no Canada and no Australia.
Oh, really?
Yes. In fact, I don't think there's United Kingdom either.
Into some real world events that were happening recently. That's what I thought that you're leading me towards.
Oh no, that would make sense though. Yeah. But no, there's no Canada, and I'm pretty sure there's no United Kingdom, England or Australia, which seems kind of bullshit.
England kind of makes sense since the Batman the Detective is kind of
fair enough. Which is funny because the Australian man is writing the England book now, but there's no Australia and no which is weird because it's like, well, but Batman, that's like the second best-selling thing. Like, as far as like books, Canada's the second biggest market, and there's no Canada for Batman. They just think like, oh, well, Batman needs to go to other countries and fight crime. Well, we know there's no crime in Canada for him to fight. What's he gonna fight?
Exotic world of Canada.
What's he gonna do? Fight rudeness? Oh, that was really nice, eh? Batman's gonna have to wallop you upside the chin, eh? Is it just Batman going and breaking up a particularly violent hockey game?
Yeah. He's keeping watch over the hockey games.
Is what he's gotta do. But no, this genuinely sounds pretty interesting. It's funny, when I read the article, it's like, oh, Batman the World from Azzarello, and I guess Bermejo, because Bermejo drew the cover here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, geez, another, reunion of these. It's getting the Batman Damn team back together. How much dong's gonna be in this? And then it's like, oh, it's 15 stories from 15 different writers from all over the world, just headlined by Azzarello, and I'm like, okay, this actually sounds pretty fun.
It sounds pretty good, but again, it's another anthology book for Batman. I think he's up to about 4 or 5 now.
It's just all anthology all the time. Yeah. Crazy. But this one should be interesting, at least. I always like, when we get voices on Batman who we don't normally get, because hey, he's an endearing character because he's endlessly retellable. What's someone else's take on Batman?
It's again, like I I haven't been reading the Batman version of it, but I've been reading the Superman anthology. That's sort of its like brother book, and yeah, all the stories that have been in those ones have been really fantastic. And I have to imagine they're going to put their top talent on it.
That's good. Yeah, and this could also be a good showcase for writers, from all over the world who maybe we've not heard of.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're new talent, and yeah, writers no one's really heard of.
That being said, though, when they do the sequel to this, I want Batman Canada to just be a whole miniseries unto itself.
Well, that's the thing. This all leads into Batman Canada. He tracks it all back to Canada.
The last place I ever thought the criminals to hide in the land of the frozen peso, Canada. Oh, and my most hated villain of all, the goalkeeper. No, the beaver tail.
The Mountie.
Oh, damn you, Mountie. Just rides up on a horse. Goddamn. That's good. But, so yeah, there's Batman Zewardo, everyone, coming soon. Now, moving on from there, we actually have more Batman news, but don't worry, this actually doesn't involve Bruce Wayne. This is a completely different Batman. It's Thomas Wayne, who is set to actually seemingly become a member of that Infinite Frontier team.
Yeah, the Totality, I guess. I guess that's going to be the team and headlining in that.
Yeah, very, very unexpected, because at first I'm like, oh, wow, this is a whole big new super team they're doing with no Batman analog on it, only for Josh Williams to be like, ha ha ha.
It makes sense as well, because that team just had an opening since Vandal Savage left the team in the Secret Files book.
Oh, do they actually explain why he's not around anymore? That's good.
Yeah, Vandal Savage leaves. He gets bored.
Okay, I gotta tell Sal about that, because me and Sal have been arguing about that forever. He's like, remember when they let Vandal Savage on the team and then he didn't show up in anything else? Well, apparently they got a reason he left.
Yeah, he left because he was bored.
Sounds about right. When you're immortal, you get bored really easily. But yeah, so Thomas Wayne here, Joshua Williamson basically took to Twitter and said, man, I haven't written this character since The Button, and I have a lot of unfinished business, which is basically a nice diplomatic way of saying, Tom King shit the bed with this character, and I need to fix it now.
Need to fix everything about this character now.
Because, again, Joshua Williamson seems to be the main driving creative force at DC right now, and this is one of the problems that fell for him, where it's like, okay, so you remember how, Bruce's dad in Flashpoint was, a darker, edgier, but ultimately sympathetic character who helped his son escape and said, don't be Batman anymore and I love you, and it was beautiful and nice and everything. And then Tom King said, nah, but what if he didn't, though?
Yeah, but what if he didn't do any of that? What if he was a real dick? And what if he killed Alfred?
Yeah, what if he was just... Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot that was...
He was indirectly responsible for that, but yeah.
Bane did it, but, Thomas was working for Bane, or he was working for Thomas. It was really fucked up. Yeah. It was a stupid story, and I'm glad someone's going to finally deal with it.
With, broken legs in Arkham or something? I can't...
Yes.
I know he was in Arkham.
Yes, Bane in wrestling terms had to get his win back after he shot Bane in the head.
Or something.
But then Bane seemingly died again anyway, but he's not dead because we see that there's going to be a Joker versus Bane story happening later. It's a whole big thing. Do you think Joshua Williamson can save Thomas Wayne? Do you think he can make sense of all that dumb bullshit?
I think he can. He just restarted the universe. He would just say yeah, none of that fucking shit happened.
Yeah. Fair enough. And also, too, I think this has put Infinite Frontier on more people's radar, if it's not on your radar already, where it's like, no, this is actually a really important and really cool cosmic multiversal team.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be quite important.
Yeah, very much so. This is what is it? The centerpiece, you could say, of the Infinite Frontier era, because it has the freaking name on it and everything that it looks like Joshua Williamson wants to do. Mm-hmm. Also, too, I guess we can't send him back now. When everything got fixed, does that mean the Flashpoint universe still exists?
I have to imagine, there probably will be a Flashpoint universe out there. Because it's the Omniverse now, it's not the Multiverse.
Right, so assumedly it has to exist, because I know even Tom King couldn't decide where it's like, but wait, Flashpoint's not an alternate universe, it's a possible future timeline. Then it's like, when it becomes popular enough, it becomes a universe.
There's a world out there that's too much like the main DC universe that could have had a Flashpoint,
Yeah. True enough, because it's like, yeah, when this is all said and done, does he and all the other guys, do they just live here now, or assumingly they have to get sent back to their own universes?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out all about it. For the answers to these and similar questions, read Infinite Frontier, coming soon.
Yeah, very soon. I think it starts up next week.
Does it actually?
I think so. I think the first issue's out next week.
God damn, there are so many. I am so far behind on all of my books. I have like Wolverine and Champions and Captain America from last week I still haven't gotten to yet. And YouTube of all places has the gall to tell me, because, you know, we tried to move the podcast to every other week on YouTube to see if it makes a difference. YouTube actually had the gall to send me a message of like, you haven't uploaded as many videos as you normally do.
I get that every now and then as well. It's like, well, you know, maybe I would if you wouldn't keep telling me that uploading too many is bad, or uploading not enough is bad, you know.
YouTube, you passive-aggressive fucking bitch goddess, you. Does nothing I do be good enough for you? Apparently not. But you know, it is good enough for me, Matt. That's another Black Label book. It's not about Batman. It's about Joker, who is like Batman. In that he is also seemingly holding up the entire Black Label part of DC. But it's a Matthew Rosenberg book. It's called Joker Puzzle Box.
Yes. I would kind of disregard this if it was anyone other than Rosenberg.
Likewise.
Just because I know Rosenberg is a very good writer.
And very good at writing villains, too. He wrote that criminally underrated Kingpin book, so I'd be very interested to see what he would do with the Joker.
His villains in his Punisher run were fantastic.
Likewise, yeah, he gives a lot of, interesting layers and complex emotions and feelings. And with a name like Puzzle Box, too, they basically seek to imply that this is going to be some sort of, like, David Lynchian 7 mystery piece.
Which kind of has me confused, because they already technically had that with Jeff Lemire's Killer Smile books. And it's like just do another series of that, because that was like pretty fantastic.
And seemed like it was going to keep going.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
Yeah. I guess Jeff Lemire got bored. No, you know what it is? Jeff Lemire got rich because they did Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I don't got to write this anymore.
He went to Hollywood and Netflix.
He got all Hollywood now. He's got that Netflix money. No, good for him. If anyone deserved Netflix money, a guy like him deserves the Netflix money.
Yeah.
That's that golden turlet money. That's that I write what I want to money. But yeah, so we're getting another Joker book here, and like we said, normally I'd complain about Joker saturation, but Rosenberg seems like the type of guy who would be able to make this pretty cool and pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure, he's probably got a good story for it, otherwise he wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, he's also done the podcast once before, too, which means he's a friend to the show. I should get him back on and ask him, what's your take on writing the Joker? Because it seems like more and more we're seeing writers kind of, warm up to this idea that the best way to do a Joker story is to not actually write about the Joker at all. You have him in there, but you have someone else be the POV.
Yeah, you make him a force of nature.
Yeah, because again, once you can start hearing his internal monologue, and once he becomes the point of vantage, a lot of the mystique is lost.
That's what made that Killer Smile book so good, because he wasn't the main character. It was just some other guy that he had infected with his ideals and everything.
Madness.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Noel.
Yes, thank you for the subscription.
Your name is like my name, but just a letter away. Just thought I'd bring that up.
Just a letter away on the keyboard as well.
Oh shit! Is this my own puzzle box moment? Am I dreaming him, or is he dreaming me? I don't know no more. Life is a flat circle. Now, more Black Label news here, but this one is quite different. It's a Superman book, Matt, that also just so happens to be in Black Label. It's Superman versus Lobo.
Yeah, and it's being written by the Money Shot guys, Tim Seeley, and I'm forgetting the woman's name.
I forget it too, don't worry. She's very good and very funny and a good follow on Twitter.
Yeah, this one kind of surprised me.
Very much so that they grabbed the whole Money Shot team. Money Shot, if you haven't read anyone, is a truly hilarious cosmic sex comedy.
Yep.
That's actually very positive and about all the best parts of human nature. And so they've gotten this team together to write a Superman versus Lobo book. And it's funny, the cover is like kind of trying to sell the idea like, ooh, Superman versus Lobo and Black Label, we can be really violent. But the team is like, no, don't worry, it's going to be funny.
Yeah, it's going to be funny, and the characters aren't going to be wildly out of character.
Sarah Beatty is the one. Thank you. I just looked at it now. When it came up on my screen, I saw it there. Lobo, of course, is already a great conduit for comedy because he's just inherently funny.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, when Brad Garrett did him on Superman the Animated Series, I think that's why a whole generation grew to love him as basically like goddamn Johnny Bravo meets Macho Man meets Boba Fett.
His live-action version in Krypton was fantastic as well.
Yeah, I heard good things, but I didn't keep up with Krypton, but a lot of people said that one was good.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea is that it's Superman and Lobo fighting, and this ticks off like some sort of like YouTuber social media influencer who's mad that no one's paying attention to them.
Yeah. Well, it looked like there was some sort of betting mechanic or something about these two fighting.
Again, looking on the cover, I'm gonna guess that's the eye. That's what the eye is about.
Yeah.
Which is a very clever concept, and where it's like, look, we've seen Lobo and Superman fight so many times before. What's a new angle you put on it? This angle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely interested in this one. I like that it's a Superman book. I like that Black Label is experimenting with comedy, not just violence and gore and adult subject matter, like actual like R-rated comedy.
Yeah. Again, they're finally, I think, starting to realize that that's what the brand can be. It's just not going to be, gratuitous violence and Batman's penis and whatnot.
Occasionally, and not even Batman's penis at a point.
Yeah, even that'll draw the line.
And even that'll draw the line somewhere. Look, you can joke about Batman's penis in Black Label, but you can't actually do it in Black Label. But yeah, this one looks like a winner. This one looks fun. I'm totally down for this one.
Yeah.
It also makes for a very good thumbnail for this new episode. Matt redesigned the thumbnails, and they look super awesome.
Yeah, you guys won't see it until a little later on. I was going to put it up for our YouTube thing because it allows you to put a thumbnail up for it, but I thought, I'll tease him later.
Ooh, gonna be a surprise. Gonna be a big surprise. But, yeah, that's the news from this week, everyone. Did we miss anything? Did we forget anything? Any old business? Any new business break when I wasn't looking?
I don't think so. I was kind of hoping that, like, all the stuff, like, because E3's coming up soon, and usually a lot of the places do like pre-shows for like E3 to prime you, and
that's right.
One of the big rumors is that there's going to be a new Switch announced very soon. You watch, it's going to be announced fucking later tonight after we finish this show.
Isn't that always? Yeah, I heard that the Switch Pro, where it's what's the deal with it? It's going to have like longer battery life and like 4K compatibility 4K, or something.
Yeah, I think an OLED screen. Yeah, probably just like just a bit better build quality, maybe.
Just my luck. I just get a Switch, and they're like, "Oh, we got Switch Minis now, and Switch, Primes and everything else."
That's why you just trade in your Switch for the new one.
I guess I could, but I like mine so much. I actually just got the extra extended memory card. I like if you get it with a certain company. They've got like little Mario stars and little Hyrule symbols and everything on them.
Yeah, I just put like skins all over my console as well. Legend of Zelda, like clever. Skins on the controllers and screens and stuff.
Oh, that's fun. That sounds like fun. I should do that.
Yeah.
I haven't touched the Switch in a bit because, again, I've been doing the whole PC gaming thing for all. But
I've been waiting for some newer games to come out because I'll just like grab a whole heap of them and play them all at once.
Yeah, I am in such a bad place right now where I keep buying games and not finishing them. Where I got really far into Watch Dogs Legion. I think I'm on like the last chapter, but I haven't finished it yet. Got really far into, Assassin's Creed Vikings there. Got to like the final area, didn't finish it. Just got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but I actually do plan to finish this one.
Yeah, do plan to finish that one, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what, this is the ride I want to take. I want to retake this ride. I want to get reacquainted with all these characters.
Yeah, and it's not a game you have to pump like 400 hours into it, like a Watch Dogs or an Assassin's Creed.
No, not at all.
Nah.
It's you're on a nice course, is what you're on. The world's big, but not that big. It's big in story and character. What else we think we might be getting for E3? I know there's some rumors there about some new like superhero stuff that they might be working on. Maybe we'll see more of that Batman Gotham Knights game.
Maybe. I know that got pushed back recently.
Oh, did it really?
The release date, at least, I think, did.
I guess lots of things are getting pushed back now because of COVID and everything.
Yeah, they need that extra year of development.
True, can't be helped. Actually, let's look at that right now. E3 2021.
I think yesterday or the day before we got a state of play about the new Horizon game, which it looks brilliant.
That's right. It looks really pretty, and I'm reminded that I haven't actually played Horizon yet. I got it free, when it was there on the PlayStation Network, so I got to get into it. That's going to be fun for me when I'm done Mass Effect. I'll be sure to get into that.
Pretty good game. It's pretty good.
It looks good, and my internet crush Ashley Birch is the voice of Eloy, so that's pretty good. I remember following her when it was just her and her brother doing silly YouTube videos. Now she's like one of the most... Hey Ash, what you playing? Now she's like one of the most in-demand frickin'
she's in everything.
Voice actors. She really is. Inescapable.
Yeah.
And Anthony Birch is doing good, too. He's got that Dungeons & Dragons podcast with Freddie Wong, Dungeons & Daddies, that's pretty good. And he's working on the new God of War.
Yeah.
As, like, one of the big writers. So, like, fucking good for you, man. From, like, making Borderlands the series that it was with actual funny writing to being able to work on that now.
Yeah.
So that's good. Oh, yeah, that we got that Suicide Squad game, too, which, now would probably be the time to talk about it, right? Because we had one trailer and nothing else attached to it.
You would think that now would be a good time because, you got the movie coming out. You can hype people up for it.
Yeah, because, we don't even know what that game was. They're like, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. We got one trailer, and it's like, okay, is it a shooter? Is it an RPG? Is it a Fortnite? What the fuck is it? That's what really annoyed me.
The designers don't even know.
They probably don't. That's the thing with video games. Like, look, make a video game for this. Well, what kind of game? I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
Speaking of that, remember, it was a while back. Remember how they announced they were making a game that was basically the Assassin's Creed Black Flag boat missions as like a single game. Remember how they were making like a single player game of just that?
Yeah.
That actually,
Skull and Bones or something.
Yeah. That actually recently restarted development. I think for the third time. I'm like, how hard is it to make? You just take what was in that game and just make it like a standalone game. How do you fuck that up?
Really. Apparently they found a way. They found a way to fuck up. Oh, hey, maybe Cyberpunk will have words about that DLC.
No, they won't.
No, they absolutely won't. That's not happening. I hope CD Projekt Red cares enough to try and save their reputation at this point eventually, but it is too soon.
Yeah.
Didn't Bethesda have a thing there, Starfield or something? Weren't they doing a space thing?
Yeah, they're doing a space game that I've been probably a few more gaming circles than you, but it's become a thing where it's like, is it going to be released this year or next year? With people saying it's this year and people saying it's next year. And what's that other game? Elden Ring. The new Souls game. That's another thing we haven't heard anything from. Mainly probably because George R. Martin's writing it.
Yeah. Man, I love those Soul games. I'm not great at them. Talk about another thing where it's like, this is great, I never finish it. I always make a lot of great progress early on, then I hit a wall and I never go back. Like, what was that? Sekiro Shadows Die Twice? That's probably the best I've ever been at a Souls game, and you can actually go back and watch my old stream material to be like, oh wow, Joel actually figured this out at a point, and then I just got hit up and never went back. I don't have enough time.
I should stream some of the Souls games. So I be humble for a minute, but apparently I'm pretty good at the Souls games because I've beaten them all. Nice.
Again, same deal. Bloodborne. Loved Bloodborne. Got super far into that. Yeah, just the aesthetic of that game is so freaking good. Got so far into it, but I don't think I ever actually saw the ending. But it was good, though. And again, people saw I actually beat Cleric Beast my first time just with sheer dumb luck. Sheer dumb fuckery, I won that one. It's maybe one of my proudest gaming moments I ever had filmed.
Nice.
Oh, B Black reminding us too there. Hey, what about Moon Knight? Yeah, I guess they officially confirmed that it's Oscars, but we already knew.
Yeah, that's been filming for a little bit, and I think people saw him on set, and they're just like, just confirm it.
Also confirmed this week, Taika Waititi is a tantric sex god.
Yes, he's a king, yes.
King amongst men, as we knew. I saw one ridiculous YouTube thing there where it's like, Disney is unhappy with that. I'm like, why are they jealous of him? It sure seems that way.
Yes, they're completely jealous of him.
completely jealous of Taika Waititi. Man, some poor sucker's walking around with nothing because Taika Waititi has no. Ooh, I'm funny and charming, and I do movies, and I'm in a throuple with multiple beautiful people. Pretty good for some weirdo from New Zealand. Good for him, man. Talk about a dude who gives us all hope that just if you're charming and funny and make good art, apparently you can do anything. And I guess he's rich too, because like Thor, what is it? Ragnarok made a lot of money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Man, when's the next season of What We Do in the Shadows coming out? That's a good show.
Yeah, I hope that comes out soon.
Yeah, it's a good show. I think that one like just ended just as like the pandemic
I think so, yeah.
started
Yeah, well,
firing up.
it ended very abruptly, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Can't remember that last episode.
Yeah. Well, they all got kidnapped and Guillermo had to save them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he had to kill all the vampires, yeah. And it kind of, ended abruptly.
Yeah, where they're just like, say, what?
Yes.
Guillermo means guillotine of the saint. In case you're wondering. It's pretty fucking badass. Just saying. And with that, everyone, I guess we can hop into what we read this week. And I read a lot this week, but still didn't read as much as I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Where would we like to begin, Matt?
Let's have a look. We had Heroes Reborn, issue 4.
We did. I read the main book, and you read a bunch of the tie-ins by the sounds of it, so let's try and, roll these together.
Yeah, issue 4 is about the Green Lantern stand-in, Dr. Spectrum.
Dr. Spectrum, who, man, they really went some places with this character. Mainly that, unlike Hyperion and Blur, which were kind of like good-natured deconstructions on Superman and Flash, where it's like, they're good people, but, they're a little bit more fucked up because it's the Marvel Universe and people's problems are a little bit realer. They're just being manipulated to do bad things. This one straight up full says, no, Dr. Spectrum is a fucking asshole, and he's loving every second of this new evil world.
He's Parallax.
He's Parallax, he's John Walker, he's literally let us take Hal Jordan, who has always been like a DC Comics right-winger, and the Green Lantern Corps, which is a space police force, and let's make them dirty gladiator cops in space.
Yeah, and it works. It's so good.
It really does. Like, it works in a way you really wouldn't expect. Because they basically just straight up say, yeah, Dr. Spectrum is the bad guy here. He's a xenophobe in the most literal definition of it, and it's actually Bounty Hunter Rocket who's trying to stop him.
Lobo Rocket, yes.
Little Lobo, little Bolfunga too, if we're keeping the Green Lantern thing in.
Yeah, and he even has like whereas Lobo has like a sentient motorbike, he has a sentient machine gun because Groot is his machine gun.
That is so cool, and he shoots little Groot splinters. Also, who did the art on this one? The art in this one was really good.
What's his name? I did my review. I'm blanking on it. Yeah, but yeah, the art was just, it was fantastic. It was gross. It was highly detailed, like all the stuff with the Cancerverse near the end. It was just so good.
Radically different.
Yeah, it was so
from
good.
The other art we've seen. James Stokey.
He recently did a story in the Superman Red and Blue series.
Ah, nice. It's funny because this is the darkest Heroes Reborn story they've told, with the most ugly, gross, detestable characters, and yet the art is beautiful and shiny and pastel, and even when Dr. Spectrum is saying like shitty racist things, it's in a rainbow box. Which they did that on purpose, right? Where it's like, yeah, let's get him to say all this xenophobic stuff, but put it in a little rainbow.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's literally the point. I'm like, wow, see, now this is Jason Aaron actually having fun. This is Jason Aaron being like, no, I got a really dark, like, Green Lantern run in me if you'd let me. But yeah, so like Rocket actually becomes an interesting hero there. They get into a big fight, and Rocket's, ace in the hole as he pulls out the Star Brand.
Yeah, because as we learn in the backup, the Star Brand child survived the alternate changing of reality and was cast into space, or like ended up in space and ended up being found by Groot and Rocket and raised by them.
And it's been a couple years because she's much older now than she was.
Yeah, I had a feeling they were going to age her up.
It gives us a nice little time frame, and also means when they put everything right, they can keep her older if they want.
Yeah, as a Star Brand, yep.
Yeah, Brandy. I forgot that was the name Iron Man
Iron
gave
Man
her.
gave it. Yep.
Brandy. Jesus Christ, Tony, you gave her a goddamn stripper name. And don't trust women named after cars and liquor. Just saying. they will always break your heart, Mercedes. Just saying. But yeah, this was a fun one. This was a crazy one, and in the end, what is it? Brandy ends up getting picked up by Captain Okoye of the Wakanda Space Fleet.
Yeah, the Wakandans, who we haven't seen yet in this universe, mainly because they're sought to be a myth, and no one thinks they exist or anything. But they makes sense. Again, I guess Jason Aaron's going to sort of do like what Ta-Nehisi Coates did with them, where he made them like spacefaring people.
Yeah, I guess the idea is that if, Avengers never formed, Wakanda never came out of hiding, I guess, T'Challa's probably still alive. Maybe he's king now, maybe he's still prince, maybe his father never died, who knows?
Or because this universe has changed, he never becomes the Black Panther, he becomes like Killmonger or something.
Oh, yeah, he becomes a bad guy. Wouldn't that be crazy? Where he's like, no, my people aren't wary enough, I need to stay on Earth and be a bad guy. Wouldn't that be crazy if like Black Panther and Killmonger are friends in this universe?
That'd be cool.
That would be like something sad where it's like, oh no, when they fix the world, that's not going to happen anymore. But yeah, so Heroes Reborn continues to be interesting and keeps throwing like curveballs. Like I thought they had settled in to like a pattern, and they're like, no, we got something else here.
Yeah. Again, we also get some more of the cracks in this universe forming with Dr. Spectrum being the one who pretty much knows the universe is like fucked up, because he knows the Star Brain shouldn't be there. Certain like characters and stuff shouldn't be existing in this universe.
Care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's going to kill them all.
He doesn't care because God is on my side, but the God turns out to be Mephisto.
Yeah. And I love all like the little changes. They got like the $10 note with them in Mephisto we trust, and the
that's
churches
a really
instead of like Jesus effigies and stuff, it's like Mephisto. They do a really cool one in the Magneto and the Mutant Force where Blur's listening to a Sex Pistols album, and it is God Save Mephisto.
Oh, that's funny. That's really good, actually. That's a good bit. I like they waited to pull the trigger on that, where it's like, no, but it was actually Mephisto.
Yeah. Oh, we could tell it was Mephisto doing deals and everything, but yeah.
Also, thanks Shadow Clone 44 for the subscription. I just saw
Thank
that.
you.
How were the other ones? You mentioned Magneto and Mutant Force. I guess just briefly run us through the tie-ins. I didn't get a chance to read them.
This is just like what happened to the mutants in this world, and the answer is they got completely fucked up. They got into a big fight with the Squadron Supreme after they tried to pass a mutant registration bill. Magneto ends up becoming the like Charles Xavier of this team. He gets like crippled and put in a chair and everything because in the big fight, Charles gets bisected by Power Princess.
Oh shit!
And a bunch of like mutants will die and everything. So he's Magneto's like running a team made of like Frenzy and Rogue and Emma Frost, and this whole issue is about him finding out that Charles might still be alive in his mind. And he uses Emma Frost to go into his mind to try and find Charles and dig through like all his mind, and we find out that he is in there, but it's not Charles, it's Cassandra Nova.
Oh,
and she takes over Magneto's body.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
I also like the idea. I think Charles might be alive in my mind. Oh, he's always alive in your mind, Eric, and in your heart too. No, I mean literally.
Yeah, Cassandra's like using Charles as like a trap for Magneto.
That's fun.
Yeah. The other one, there was two other ones. The only other one I read was the Siege Society, which is the Squadron Supreme fighting Baron Zemo, who in this is very much a Nazi. He's looking to try and kick the Squadron Supreme out of Europe because they've set up a base in Europe. He wants to kick him out so he can start the Third Reich again and everything. And he's working.
Zemo.
With Black Widow, Hawkeye, Fire Ant, who's Scott Lang.
Right, because they all stayed villains in this universe because the Avengers weren't there to rehab.
Yeah, Soviet agent, who's like the US agent, but Soviet.
Makes
And
sense.
yeah, he's like they like assault one of the Squadron Supreme's base, and Blur and Nighthawk have to come and sort of stop them. That one was so it was an okay book, but it was really wordy. Like every page was just like
you
filled
mentioned
with fucking like paragraphs upon paragraphs of and half of it is a joke, because there is a joke in there about Zemo always monologuing when like a hero like gets him started on something. He always starts monologuing. There is that joke, but then other characters do it as well.
Right, you can only lampshade it so
Yeah.
much. I might have to check that one out, if only for the costumes, because I love these versions of these
they're pretty
characters
cool.
where they stayed villains.
They're pretty cool.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I hope they become skins in a fighting game at some point. What else was this week? We had Action Comics number 1031, the continuation of this big War World story.
Yeah, the big one building up into what Superman's going to be taking the authority with him to the War World later on with Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
This one was a pretty cool continuation of that story, where he finds the Kryptonian refugees, or maybe they're not Kryptonian refugees.
We don't know.
But yeah, he investigates them and investigates their ship, and it gets into a little bit of a kerfuffle with the Atlanteans.
Yeah, Merc being an asshole.
Yeah, of course.
Where it's like,
of course Merc's an asshole.
He's the one. Yeah. Is Aquaman still king of Atlantis now or not? I haven't read Aquaman in forever.
He hasn't got a book at the moment, so I don't know.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it seemed like his role was greatly depleted, because it's like, oh, these ships landed in Atlantis, which means we own the rights to them and their amazing fuel source, which seems to be a piece of the source wall.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, these Kryptonian refugees managed to, like, turn that into a fuel source, which is crazy. Also, they might not be Kryptonians, but they do know an ancient Kryptonian dead language, wherein they seem to be talking about the name of someone named Thalik, who's like an old Kryptonian scientist.
Yeah, as Kara put it, it's only something like Kryptonians would know, and even then, only a very few would know them. So there's some connection there.
John has a little freak out because John has read this story before, basically, and he's like, nah, I don't believe they are Kryptonians. This is bullshit. Every other time it's not Kryptonians, or if it is, it ends badly.
And he's kind of right as well, because at the end we find out that these people have been sent by Mongol, exactly like he said, to stop Superman, kidnap Superman, something like that.
Or something. We don't know what. We know that Mongol is holding something over them. I like this new interpretation of Mongol and Warworld and all the shit with the chains. Like, Superman tries to take the chains off one of Mongol's guys, but he's willing to, like, crack his own head open, then give up his chains.
And the girl as well, when she wakes up, she freaks out because she doesn't have the chains on anymore. She quickly puts the chains on.
We also don't know. We see her fuck up Keelix, and it's like, wait, is she doing that because she's super strong now, or is that because Keelix is weak?
Again, that's like another thing Supergirl says, because Superboy says, well, they're obviously not Kryptonian. Their cells aren't, taking in solar radiation, and Supergirl's quick to mention that they've only just had sunlight, like, in the last couple of minutes, so it'll take a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is interesting. I know they've toyed around with the concept of New Krypton and other Kryptonians before, and it's always quite the tightrope to walk, and have it not be, like, silly as a story. But so far, I'm digging this.
Well, Philip Kennedy Johnson even, like, teased it in that Worlds at War book he had with that, like, whatever happened to Superman? Maybe his people came back and took him, sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, again, it's like teasing that sort of stuff.
Oh, shit, that's right. Because I know you're a bigger Superman fan than me, and you probably have more, base for this. What do you feel about the concept of other Kryptonians? It's been a while since we've had new Kryptonians.
I wouldn't mind it. I'd like to see what, like, someone like Philip Kennedy Johnson does with it.
I guess it makes more sense now because we don't have the Bottle City anymore. I mean, we do, but those people are all on cryo sleep because they're crazy.
Yeah.
So we might as well have, like, another group of Kryptonians out there somewhere in the universe. The refugee Kryptonians.
Yeah.
They also kick around some ideas, too, where it's like, well, maybe they're time travelers. Well, maybe they're this. Well, maybe they're that.
Which, time traveling could make sense, because, like, in the backup, the Midnighter backup, that's a big part of it, because the Midnighter in that story is from the future state, future, and he's been sent back in time to kill Andre Trojan before he fucks up the timeline and everything.
Right.
Midnight is getting an annual coming up. Big
Yeah,
annual.
that's right. Which is the first time we're getting an annual off the back of backup stories.
Yeah, and it's continuing this story, which is very cool since I'm following that story.
I love that concept. I hope we get more of that, because now that people know that backup stories can lead to annuals of their own, maybe more people will actually start reading them.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think that's the ultimate carrot at the end of the stick, and the ultimate reward to be like, yeah, you do good and enough people like this becomes an annual. Yeah, so there you go. What else did you have this week, Matt?
Let's have a look. I had Stargirl Spring Break Special issue 1.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're doing more with Stargirl now because the show is popular.
We're not just doing more with Stargirl.
What else is going on?
I'll get to that. So yeah, this issue is just it's all by Jeff Johns again, writing the character he created, and he just reiterates who Stargirl is, what her deal is, and everything.
Right.
And we sort of pick up from that what we got in Infinite Frontier with her, where her and Pat are off to help Vigilante, and we learn why they are helping him, and that is because in the past the original Crimson Avenger Lee Travers apparently died on like a boat somewhere, but apparently he didn't actually die, as the new Crimson Avenger found out, and the boat he was on had a time machine on it, run by the crazed Nazi Per Degaton, who's a Stargirl villain. And the device, because it exploded, it caused him to like fall through time, and he fell into the present day. So they've got to stop Clock King before he can get the device and go back in time and make himself into a hero.
Oh shit, we're actually doing something with Clock King. Oh my god.
Not only that, but we get confirmation that the Green Arrow we've seen, because Green Arrow, again, is a big part of this issue.
Yes.
The Green Arrow we've seen and we've been following is the original one from the 40s. And we get told that that's because he and Roy fell into one of Clock King's time traps, and it sent them to the past, where they teamed with the Seven Soldiers of Victory.
I saw that panel you put up, and yeah, wow. What extra... Only Jeff Johns would go to the extra lengths to try and square that circle, and to be like, wait, but why are the other Seven Soldiers old, but Green Arrow and him are still the same age they've always been?
The Seven Soldiers aren't old anymore. They got brought back through time as well by Nebula Man, when they fought him, and because Nebula Man ended up killing one of their sidekicks, Wing. And Wing, again, is another big part of this. So again, sidekicks are like a prevalent thing throughout the story, and how sidekicks and all these older heroes all seem to either die or get messed up. And that looks to be what the new Stargirl ongoing is going to be dealing with, which is her and Emiko teaming up to search for Wing, who's apparently still out there and at the mercy of a villain called the Childminder.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's like stuck on some island with all these other sidekicks.
Whenever you put child in your supervillain name, it's never good. The child catcher, the child minder. It's just, oh no.
Not only that, but at the end of the story, Clock King kind of disappears in like this big time wave explosion. And we found out that he got dumped in 1940s with Per Degaton, who isn't going to send the Clock King back to his original time. He's going to team with him to take down the Justice Society of America, who are also getting a new book.
Okay, you sold me on this. This actually sounds pretty dope, and Green Arrow is a focus on it, so that's pretty good,
and
too.
And the JSA book is, again, by Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that Johns finally got to write his damn JSA book he's been going on about forever.
Yeah, and I guess he's getting, like, the Stargirl ongoing as well.
I guess, kind of putting them all together. The Johns universe. The Johnsman. Also, I'm glad Emiko Queen gets stuff to do.
Yeah.
I guess she's also a Titan too, but like no one gives a shit about those
that
other
she
Titans.
was a Titan in this.
Oh, okay. Well, at least someone's paying attention then, if nothing else. What else was this week? Ooh, Beta Ray Bill.
I haven't read this one yet.
This is good. I will be very brief with this one. It's basically Bill and the rest of the team coming to terms with the fact that the ship is alive now and is a person. And the way they explain it is so beautifully comic book. They're like, well, I was high technology, but you keep getting involved with magic people all the time, so I keep getting pelted by magic. So when I went through the portal, yeah. Perfectly suitable comic book answer. And it's great, too, because the ship, kind of has a heart-to-heart with Bill. And surprise, surprise, but the ship, now that it's human and has a body, is also dealing with body image issues and self-worth issues. And it can, feel for the first time. And it's having the whole, am I human thing? Which perfectly reflects what Bill is going through, and the ship gives him a gift. The ship actually gives him a brand new space axe.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's made of itself. It's made of scuttlebutt, and it's all high tech, and it has boosters on the back, so he can throw it, and it activates and actually comes back to him and everything.
Oh, that's cool. It seems to be the week for hammers, because you had John Henry Irons on Superman and Lois, and
yeah,
it's the week for hammers.
It really, hammers are hot commodities now. They're the hot new summer accessory. Get yourself a big hammer. What's beautiful about this Beta Ray Bill thing and about this twist is basically with this issue, I can see the ending, and that is Bill realizes, I went to literal hell to Muspelheim and back to try and get the power to make myself more human so my old friends would like and respect me and maybe even love me. But look, I have people who love and respect me for who I am right here, and I don't need a new hammer because I have a weapon.
It's about
right
acceptance, yeah.
It's literally a story about acceptance and self-worth and everything. I'm like, wow, that's so beautifully and precisely told in 6 issues. Good on you, Daniel Warren Johnson.
He had a story he wanted to tell, and he knew exactly how many issues he could tell it in.
Yeah, he told the fuck out of that story, and just genuinely cool, genuinely fun stuff. I mean, if you're not reading Beta Ray Bill, it's easily probably one of the best miniseries of the year so far.
It's pretty good.
I don't know anything that's even close to it. It's pretty goddamn good. What else did you have?
I had Darth Vader issue. What issue was it? It was issue 12.
Oh, what's Vader up to these days?
Vader is getting involved in the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh shit, that's right, that big mega event.
This is the first issue in the aftermath after he discovered Exegol and what the Emperor's building there with his fleet full of planet-killing weapons and everything, and he doubles down on becoming a Sith and wants to be a Sith, and he's like, right, well in that case, I know I have to kill my son because he's weak. He won't ever come with me, so I got to kill him. Instead of killing him, though, I'm going to go hurt him, and the best way to hurt him is to hurt his friends. So he sets his sights on the person who... It's really great because it recontextualizes a lot of scenes from the original trilogy with Luke, about how there's always there's always just someone there with him to help him, like Han and Chewie. Who have become the focus of Vader's rage because he's gone after them before and missed them, and he goes after them again after Empire Strikes Back and decides, I'm gonna find Han Solo and Chewbacca and I'm gonna kill them in front of my son.
Damn, that is some harsh parenting, is what that is.
Him and Ochi of Bestoon go looking for Han and learn that Boba Fett has lost him, and they put on the trail of Boba Fett.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Sounds like some good old-fashioned Star Wars. How about that Bad Batch? We haven't talked about that for a little bit.
It's been pretty good.
I quite enjoyed that last episode there where it's like, yo, Rancors.
Yeah, Rancors. Rancor that's apparently meant to be the same one from Return of the Jedi, but it can't possibly be.
I was going to say, I wanted to ask you about that. I'm like, hey, I don't know as much about Star Wars as you, but that feels like that doesn't add up.
Well, the writer says it did. It's meant to be the same one, but it can't be because, A, they're named differently, and 2, they're opposite genders. I think the one in the film is a male and this one was a female. I mean, you could just rename it. Jabba could have renamed it, Yeah.
As he does. I don't like that name, says Jabba from his sex palace. Yeah. Gotta love getting Bib Fortuna in there because, literally just when you shoot, the underside of his face, his facial sack, I'm like, oh, it's Bib Fortuna. Because who else is it gonna be? He has a very particular sack. I love to every episode, the Bad Batch trust Omega a little bit more with new stuff where it's like, stay on the ship. Okay, come with us. Okay, here's a communicator. And now it's like, okay, I guess you get to have a weapon then.
And yeah, she gets a cool one of those slaver weapons. They're like bows.
Yeah.
Which I originally thought was a Night Sister bow.
Same. Me too. I was shocked. Like, oh, I guess it isn't that. And that's a great weapon for her too, because it's a little stealth weapon too, you know, for running around taking dudes out. And we know she can fight, and that clearly she's important because they're sending bounty hunters after her specifically.
Yeah, they're not after the Bad Batch, they're after her.
Also, Sid, the Lady Trandoshan there, that was the old lady from Ray Donovan, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Goddamn, she has a very specific voice, doesn't she? I was going to say, when are we going to get John Voight in the Star Wars universe? Then I'm like, nah, it's good. We don't need Mickey Donovan in the Star Wars universe.
Well, maybe we do. It's just Mickey Donovan.
It's just Mickey Donovan. Hey, you know how to twerk, you Wookiees? That's what he owns. He owns a big twerking Wookiee hut. Hey, Bad Batch, you want to have an adventure with me? This is really more of a Mandalorian type of thing. Also, that's kind of funny, too. Bib Fortuna ever so briefly meeting the Bad Batch, knowing that he will be killed by a clone later on.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is a thing where it's like, if only he knew. What else was this week? Had a new X-Men this week. X-Men 20, the penultimate for Hickman's X-Men run.
I breezed through this one, and it looks like a good one.
It is excellent. It's maybe one of the best ones. Hickman is swinging super fucking hard right at the end. Again, I don't want to spoil it too much for you because you haven't read it yet. I want you to actually feel the same things that I felt.
Points of it.
Okay, well, so basically we go back to the story from X-Men 6, which we haven't returned to in a long time, and that is, hey, what happened to Mystique? Xavier and Magneto told her to go blow up the Orchis factory and everything and basically kill Nimrod before it could be built, but she didn't do it because she's like, I don't think I trust you guys anymore, and my wife Destiny said, hey, one day there will be an island, it will not be the first, but it will be the last, and when they don't return me to life, you have to burn that shit down. And what's beautiful about this is, Forge gives her like a black hole bomb to go and destroy the space station, but she's too late because Dr. Gregor gets Nimrod online. But wait, this Nimrod is different than all the other Nimrods. This one actually has the brain patterns of her dead husband, who was the head of Orchis security that the mutants had killed.
Yeah, back in that issue.
So what we essentially have here is a beautiful parallel between Mystique, who is doing these horrible things to bring back the woman she loves, and Dr. Gregor, who is doing these horrible things to bring back the man she loves. Pure dichotomy, both can't have what they want. And in the end, the Nimrod actually steps on in and saves everyone on Orchis, but to do so has to sacrifice the human part of its mind. So basically, Gregor's husband died twice, saving everybody. Yep. So she is horrified and she is just distraught. But Dr. Devo and Omega Sentinel are like, wow, this thing that we've made has really scared the shit out of the mutants, right? And we actually won this one? Like, we lost every other one, but we actually won this one? We must be on to something now. Pour more into the Nimrod project. And I'm like, God damn, this is good. And Mystique awakens from her cocoon there, but she's a failure. And Xavier and Magneto are like, we're done with you. We'll find someone else to be our attack dog. And then it's like, coming soon, Inferno. Yeah. So I'm guessing the Inferno book is going to be Mystique starting a new team to take down Krakoa and take down Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah, again, this is like everything I knew was going to happen eventually. Whether it wouldn't have been Mystique, it would have been someone that will eventually have turned on Krakoa.
And it makes such perfect sense for it to be Mystique too, and it is so crazy that in any other situation, she is just this amoral villain. And yet here, you sympathize with her so much because it's all about love. They're denying her the love of her. Everyone else gets to live again except for the woman that she loves.
It feeds into that whole sinister nature of the island where, like, Magneto says, yeah, it's a paradise and everything, but it's, like, what I choose and what I choose to be paradise and everything. And like, it might not be what you want, but I don't care.
And oh yeah, the morality of this one is so crazy because Xavier and Magneto are like, look, Mystique, we know you're a monster. We know you'll never be rehabbed and that, you would never accept Krakoa, but you serve a purpose for us. But as soon as you stop serving that purpose, we will throw you away, just like we threw Sabretooth away, too, when he no longer served us.
Yep.
Which begs the question, too, who's the next one they're going to get? Who's going to be their Mystique replacement?
It'll have to be someone very similar to Mystique, because she had a very specific set of skills for that role.
Morph. We got Morph back.
Just double down on Beast.
Double down on Beast. You'd think they'd get Wolverine, but it's like, no, Wolverine is too loud. He's a freaking machine gun. Mystique's a scalpel.
He's questioned Krakoa a number of times.
He is, and they don't want to lose Wolverine. They don't want to lose him. They want to keep him on Team Krakoa. Maybe they'll bring back that
whole clone thing where they'll just like, well, we'll just clone like Mystique and just like keep wiping her mind and just have like this like husk of Mystique to do our dirty work.
So basically, you're going to be Weapon X. Is what you're saying. You're going to do the very thing they said.
Exactly. How good would that be? Like a cool parallel between that.
Where, wow, to do what you wanted, you guys started your own Weapon X, you fucking hypocrites, you. And that's the best thing about this story is that, like, this really paints Professor X and Magneto being like, nope, you guys are absolutely evil hypocrites. Oh,
I love it so much. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit. Someone in the chat said, hey, where's the Captain America review? On the bottom of my pile with Wolverine and Champions and all the other stuff I deeply want to get to but haven't yet. It's been a big week, and we're in event season now, so goddamn. It's real heavy. But yeah, X-Men is great. One more issue left. It's the Hellfire Gala, and then Jerry Duggan takes over.
Yeah, goddamn. 21 issues.
Blackjack.
Yeah. Yeah, please let that be a joke. Please let that be a joke.
Blackjack. Also, he's not leaving. He's just clearly going to write other X-Men shit. I don't know if they announced. Yeah, I don't know if they announced he's writing Inferno, but he's probably writing Inferno. Yeah. But yeah, so that's good shit. What else did you have, Matt? I had 3 left.
I had Batman Superman issue 12, 13?
Or 18.
Yeah, 18, sorry.
Okay, see, I almost read this one, but I read Other History first because I knew that one would take me all day to read and write about. But yeah, tell me about this. This is more about the auteur and the 2 Golden Age film universes.
Yes. More about the auteur and his plans. And we only get him in sort of like the front and back of the book where he's like fighting the Earth-Zero, Superman and Batman.
Which is fine. I fucking love there's a villain called the Auteur, and he's an evil alien robot filmmaker.
Well, again, he might not actually be alien. As Batman finds out, this might actually be a rogue program created by LexCorp for the entertainment industry. So he's basically a rogue code version of Premiere Pro.
That's fucking funny. Ji Luen Yang is very funny.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, yeah. But yeah, he's like some rogue code program, but made human or like organic. I'm guessing we're going to learn more about him next issue. But yeah, he threatens after Batman blows up his kryptonite thing. He threatens them with a Phantom Zone crystal, which we don't know what he's going to do with because the story cuts back to the 1940s Golden Age Superman and Batman. Who are teaming up and fighting their respective villains, and their respective villains obviously are Martha Wayne and her son Bruce, who ends up becoming Bizarro of this world when he gets injected with a serum that turns him strong, and he starts talking like in backwards speech. But then at the end, the serum wears off, but only wears off half, and he becomes Two-Face. So he's like half the face is still like all fucked up, and it's like got that voice like Two-Face has and everything. It's great. It's great.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of good gags in this one. Just such a wildly creative idea for Ji Luen Yang. Like, you can't say for his Batman Superman run that he was like resting on his laurels or anything creatively.
Yeah. This book has been so creative, and one of the issues coming up as well is going to be like that first issue where you can read it back to front.
Oh, really?
Oh, you can read like you read it from the front to get Superman's story, then read it from the back to get Batman's story.
I deeply appreciate it when they play around with the format like that. No one really does it anymore.
Yeah, and he's been doing it all through the story because obviously it's about like film reels and like they're on like certain film reels and they jump from one film reel to the other because we learned that Martha Wayne has been like ferrying tech over from another world to Dr. Adam, who we learn is Lex Luthor, but he's Lex Luthor from another world, not one of these two worlds. He's basically playing the Alexander Luthor role, where he's from a destroyed, from a destroyed timeline, a timeline that was destroyed by Etrigan, and he jumped to this timeline because he knows that the auteur destroys film reels that aren't seen as perfect, and he wants to perfect this one so they survive.
This Kubrick ass motherfucker. Yeah. Every image is a painting.
Yeah.
It's so cool, too, because, like, Gene-Luen Yang seems like he cracked the code on, like, hey, I'm going to get people to read and care about Golden Age Batman and Superman stories in the year 2021. Well, how? This is how.
Yeah, I'm going to make it, like, completely, like, crazy and, like, wild and everything. And it makes sense as well. Box. That's the thing. It's, like, not a complete, like, car crash.
Yeah, it's nuts. It almost feels like it shouldn't work. Like, I am in awe that it works and makes sense and isn't like goddamn incomprehensible. Yeah. That dude is a gem, and I hope he keeps getting work.
Oh, I think he's going to be on this book for a while.
Certainly seems that way. If everything is as strong as this first arc, then we are going to be in for a treat. Had Detective Comics this week. Well, we're on the Batman Superman front.
I did as well.
Continuing with the good mystery shit, you know, there was a zombie that showed up at the end of the last issue, and we're like, what the fuck is this about? It wasn't a zombie, it was a Clayface. It was Lady
Clayface. Again, tying back to James Tynan's run on the book.
Yeah. Also tying back into A-Day in Infinite Frontier, where it's like, wasn't she a patient there? Yes, she was, and it completely fucked up her cellular structure, the gas attack.
And she can't take a solid form anymore, and that's why she ends up turning into, like, weird zombie creatures.
Because she was actually the only witness for this mysterious murder of Bruce's neighbor.
Yeah, who was murdered by possibly Neil, who himself is murdered by Pink Eye.
Yes, by some horrible pink eye creature that is seeming to be taking over everyone in the city. And we actually get a cool thing where Huntress helps Batman out in this because we saw Huntress tracking other murders in the backup, and so now the backups in the main story are crossing over. I'm like, see, this is good. This is why you have backups.
This is good shit.
I dug the design of Penguin's henchmen in this one too. They have like ski masks but with white penguins.
I got confused for a minute. I was like, wait, these are penguins, man, but they kind of dressed like Bane. I'm like, oh, it's meant to be like a penguin sort of. It's like very similar to Bane's.
Very much so. See, here's my thing. If I ever got to do a Batman story, I'd be like, okay, Penguin's henchmen. We keep the penguin mask, but they dress like longshoremen.
Yeah, big sailors.
With little... Yeah, with little hats and jackets and everything. Because, penguins, nautical themes. Yeah. Here's where it falls apart, though. Penguin's a club owner, so he couldn't have his own henchmen in his own club because they would completely clash with, the dress code.
Yeah, they have to come in the back.
Yeah, and no one's going to do criminality, in a tuxedo, because that's just the problem. Like, again, you can't really fight or do shit in a tuxedo. This is the problem with Penguin when it comes to henchmen. Joker, Two-Face, Black Mask, it all makes sense what their dress code is. For Penguin, it's difficult. Even Bane, wear a Lucia mask and some paramilitary stuff.
Yeah,
you're good.
Tank top or something, yeah.
Tank top like that. Yeah, gotta show off that we've all been lifting down at Bane's gym. But this book was just a lot of fun. Again, it's mystery. They're building a good mystery. I actually don't know what's going on, but in a good way.
I like that they're involving Bruce Wayne in the actual murder mystery.
Yes, he's very involved because his neighbors keep dropping dead of mysterious murders, and he ends up becoming a suspect. I love that there's a nosy neighbor being like, Bruce Wayne is acting weird, police. And he's like, shit, I'm not used to living around people who question all the weird shit I do. Yes, no, officers, I didn't carry a corpse back into my place. I was watching a horror movie on my bitchin' sound system.
And I also have to think with him being like brought up as a suspect and everything, this is all just going to feed into the whole magistrate story with him being targeted as one of Peacekeeper's first victims.
You would think so. Even Nakano has some good stuff to do this issue. I love that Nakano doesn't really have any friends in the political world of Gotham. So he's kind of joined forces with Mr. Worth because his daughter has been killed, but Mr. Worth's a criminal and he's impatient. So you have this mayor who was a cop getting bullied by this, construction kingpin who is a real criminal.
Yeah, who openly threatens that he will, probably break the mayor's legs if he doesn't get what he wants.
And that Nakano has to sit there and take it from him is amazing. Where it's like, dude, you were a cop once.
I really want an issue that dives into Nakano's mind after that. Like he's getting berated by these guys and pushed around. He can't really do anything because he's not a cop. He can't arrest them anymore. Nope. He's powerless. So he's like, well, what do I do? I became mayor so I would have power to do it, but I have no power now.
I have less power than I did before. Yeah, Nakano is turning into a really interesting case because at first it's just like, oh, great, another politician who hates superheroes. We haven't seen this one 100 times. But the more they keep going back to him, they keep peeling off more and more interesting layers.
Yeah, again, for a character he was introduced by Peter Tomasi in his run. Yeah, again, for a character who looked like he was only meant to be in that one run, really. He's become a really great supporting character.
Heck, they're making him the linchpin both in this story and for the coming of the Magistrate and Fear State and everything. Which I was not expecting. Also, they still have a whole bunch of stuff going on, like, hey, is his partner really dead, or is there something going on with that? Yep. Yeah, they got a lot of different angles with that. But, Detective Comics is a lot of fun right now. It is, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think someone said where it's like, man, it's been a while since both Action Comics and Detective Comics have both been really good at the same time.
They're firing on all cylinders.
They sure are. They sure are. All right, I had two more. What about you?
What are they? I might have had them.
I had Titans Academy.
I haven't read that one yet. No.
This is the book that broke me. I'm not gonna lie. All the cracks in this series have officially become fissures, and I think I'm done with this one now.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, so this is the continuation of, the Suicide Squad crossover, which, again, 3 issues in this book is already doing a crossover, which is a bad idea.
It should have waited until, at least issue 5.
Boy, it should have, because, again, there's no real main character. The only real thrust is who is Red X, but being mysterious is not a character trait.
Yeah, well, and again, doing the tie-ins straight away, we don't even know who these characters are. We need to know who these people are first.
Yeah, before it's even a halfway decent mystery. It starts stupid and it just gets dumber. So last issue, the Titans found out, oh no, we caught Red X downloading stuff. We have a mole in our midst. What are we going to do about it? We're going to leave and go on another mission, actually, is what we're going to do. Because we don't actually have any information. We're pretty sure that he's a student, but we don't think he's violent. We're basing that on nothing, but we're pretty sure he's not.
Given the Red X's past, we don't believe he's violent.
Yes, that's absolutely what they do. So they're like, we're assuming that he's not violent. We're gonna leave the Teen Titans in charge while we go to Markovia. And it's like, really, guys, you're gonna let the older kids watch the younger kids? Jesus Christ, you guys are bad teachers. You guys can run the class. Of course you can. Even though there's literally, again, a potentially dangerous mole in your midst. Crush actually gets a lot of focus in this issue because we need her to get mad at the team and leave so she can be part of that Lobo Crush miniseries.
To a solo series, yeah.
Yeah, so we hijack a whole bunch of the book for that. Which, goddamn, time well spent. I will admit, though, she actually lampshades something kind of hilarious, and that is the older Titans are running us like taskmasters, and we got 100 new kids here. It's like no one even cares about us anymore. I'm like, yeah, you guys really got the worst end of the stick on this.
Yeah, you're like the middle redhead child. No one gives a shit about here. Who's that other guy that's hanging around? He's roommates with Billy.
Oh,
yeah, Roundhouse. No one gives a shit about him, and
No. Wally 2 is there. Imiko is there, but they're all just forgotten toys.
Wally West is there. What the fuck's he doing there? He's meant to be falling through time at the moment.
This is where they've stuck him, so he can just hang out there. He's not doing much of anything, and that's the real problem.
Poke him with a stick. Come on, murder someone.
I know, right? So the real thing was is that the Suicide Squad wanted Bolt, right, who is the Australian member of the team who we saw in Future State. They're like, ooh, we need to get her, and we actually learn her origin story, which is admittedly pretty fun. Apparently, she has speed because she has a Speed Force formula, which we've seen before in Flash stories.
Every like a jolt sort of thing, like where it's in short bursts and everything.
For a short amount of time, they don't explain how she gets it, but it's implied that she got it from the Reverse Flash somehow. She uses the power to help her parents become like major players in the Australian underworld because, hey, if you got a kid with super speed, it's really easy to run like drugs and numbers and shit. Unfortunately, though, her parents piss off the wrong people and they end up cutting off her legs.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. I'm like, that's fucking dark and grisly for this. That's really unnecessary.
So fitting for the Australian underworld,
True enough, it's like Animal Kingdom, the movie, not Animal Kingdom, the show. But, so that's how she meets Amanda Waller, and Amanda Waller's like, okay, I'll give you these experimental, like, prosthetic legs, but you gotta go undercover in the Titans and be my mole. So I'm like, wait. So Red X infiltrated them, and Bolt infiltrated them, so 2 people have infiltrated the Titans now. That we know. Is everyone a mole? Is everyone who joined up actually a mole?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to find out that like Billy Batson is there because he's got to unlock something from the Magic Lands or something. I don't know.
It only gets dumber because Red X is like, oh, you failed Suicide Squad. Don't worry, I'll let you in the school for no reason. And Amanda Waller's like, yes, let's trust this person who we just met and who I don't have a bomb in their neck. Let's do it. And then instantly Red X turns on them as quickly as he helped them because Red X is apparently on no one's side. And then Crush wants to murder, William Cobb the Talon. And Donna Troy's like, no, you can't murder. And she's like, but I want to murder, though. Fuck you, I'm moving in with my dad. And I'm like, really? It was all over William Cobb the Talon? He's a zombie. He's dead already. If she wanted to kill anyone, should have killed him. So they have a completely lame reason for her wanting to leave, and that's basically the book. And I'm like, man, I am officially not having fun with this anymore.
I think the only thing, like, just from what you've said, that would probably make me like really like that whole Red Hood thing is, I think I might have said it before, but like it's revealed that there is actually no infiltrating Red Hood. It's like a test by Nightwing and the teachers.
Yeah. Well, see, I think they actually go against that now because Red X goes out of his way to talk a lot of shit about Nightwing and Starfire.
It could be like all part of the plan.
He interestingly calls the other ones, and the rest.
Okay.
Which means whatever their beef is, it's specifically with Nightwing and Starfire. Okay. It's, God, what other dumb thing? There's so many dumb things that happen in this book. So Superboy, right? Because he's on the squad, and well, this should be interesting, right? Because his team should want to save him. Because it's like, well, why are you with the Suicide Squad? Never comes up. He looks at himself in a picture one time and looks all sad on the wall, and that's all we get. Oh,
really?
So they bungle what should have been the most interesting
Which is
part.
Really funny because, like, yeah, the most interesting stuff about him and like Peacemaker is in that Suicide Squad book. So it's like, from what you've been saying, it sounds like it's the Teen Titans side of stuff that's kind of like all fucking it, all this tying up.
That's
like
the problem.
They got like they learnt about it like 2 minutes before it was due or something.
Sure feels that way. And they don't get Bolt either. Bolt ends up staying with the team, and I'm like, but wait, was not the whole point that the Suicide Squad had to go and recruit her because she's on the team in the future, but we don't get her, so...
Move on to Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing next.
Yeah, let's recruit Swamp Thing next. Hopefully that crossover will be better. But yeah, so Titans Academy, it's dog rough. It really is. It's a shame, right? Because it should be such like a slam dunk concept. It's like, it's like X-Men, but with young superheroes. You got so many.
Yeah, you think it would... It's literally X-Men. They're in like a fucking mansion. They all have fucking powers. They're all being taught by like the older team and everything. It makes fucking... How you drop the ball on that?
This series, I think, is a masterclass in how you squander a good idea because you introduced way too many characters. You should have kept the cast nice and small. It should have been just the Titans to start, the Teen Titans, and then you could grow it from there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you think maybe they weren't... Like, this book wasn't meant to continue or something, and then it, like, got popular or something. I don't know.
You know what I think the problem is too? Sheridan has never written a comic before. He's written for the DC animated TV side of things. He wrote that Superman, Martian Manhunter, Lobo movie from not too long ago.
Oh, that was actually pretty good though.
It was. He's not a bad writer, but this is the first comic he's ever written. And you can tell this is the first comic he's ever written because, again, he's having trouble with pacing and, like, spacing and everything else right there. And I think it's just too many things happening at once. I'm sure being a new writer, he's a lot easier for, like, editorial to bully and be like, oh, well, you got to do this crossover here. And, oh, you got to set up this spinoff and you got to do this, that, and the other. And they know he'll do it because he doesn't want to rock the boat where other writers might fight against it.
Yeah, again, maybe if he didn't have this tie-in to deal with and, like, sending Crush off to do that and whatever else, like, maybe it would be pretty good.
Because that feels like first writer hubris, where it's like, oh yeah, I can totally do all of these things in my first... No, you can't. Other writers would fight tooth and nail to not have to do it. But yeah, I feel bad for him. Maybe the run will get better after this. I don't know, but I just know there's way too many good books on the shelf right now to keep up with one that I'm not enjoying.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, what else did you have, Matt?
I don't think I actually had anything else.
Oh, okay. I got one last one, and I'll be really quick with it because I already talked about it for 11 minutes in a microphone. Other History of the DC Universe 4, it's the Renee Montoya one. It's good, but it's not as good as the other three for a couple big reasons. Okay. I think one of the things I really liked about Other History is that it was this amazing feat that John Ridley found. He was able to find a through line in a 3-act story for characters like Mal Duncan, Black Lightning, and Katana, whose series are all chopped up and canceled and everything else, but that he was still able to find a story. The thing about Renee Montoya is her story's not chopped up at all.
Consistent.
If you want good Renee Montoya, read 90s Batman, read Gotham Central, read the backups in Batwoman. It's all there.
Read the recent Lois Lane series.
That does not get covered.
Really?
Yes, that does not get covered, which I was surprised about. I thought it's like, well, if you're doing everything up till now, you got to do this. The problem is that it's all really consistent, and it's all also excellent is the other thing, where with all those other histories, part of the fun, too, was John Ridley being like, okay, I'm going to reclaim these stories and tell you why they were actually important, and I'm going to fill in the blanks and everything, and I'm going to, put all this great respect on these characters. With Renee Montoya, it's like, but she was already really respected, and she already had a lot of really excellent stories and runs. You have a lot less to work with here. Even the historical things that he has to grab from, where it's like, okay, so 90s, LA riots, 9/11, Bush. Okay, I can work those in somewhere. What was really big and happening in comics at the time? Wonder Woman broke Maxwell Lord's neck. Yeah, okay, that's in there, I guess. Early 2000s. You could tell he really struggled to try and find some of this. The best one is they actually bring back the story of Arthur Ashe, the tennis player, who's like, oh yeah, he was like he broke the color barrier in tennis, but he's so often forgotten that's unfair. Here's the other thing. Arthur Ashe died of HIV, which he got because of a botched blood transfusion, and because this was, early 90s, whatever. Just the specter of people thinking he was gay completely undid all the hero stuff, and obviously that ties into Montoya, who's all about hiding her true self and, masking it and everything. And she's like, if people found out who I was, would that wash away all the good work I did as a cop?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's basically the heart of the story. In many ways, it's actually one of the hardest ones to read because Montoya in this book is so deeply like self-loathing and self-hating, and like so many bad things keep happening to her over and over again. It has a happy ending by the end, but this is actually probably the darkest of the other histories.
Wow. Well, now that you mention that, I will talk about another book I've read. I'm like one page away from finishing my review on it, so I didn't want to talk about it yet, but I actually will talk about it because it fits in really nicely with what you're talking about. Okay. That's the new Mr. Miracle book.
Oh yeah, that's right. That launched this.
Yeah, and again, that's about a black man hiding himself and hiding who he is, hiding his identity because of what that coming out will how that will affect him and what he does and everything. Yeah, it's about Shiloh Norman's Mr. Miracle from Future State, and he's the what do you call it, the the showboaty Mr. Miracle, and they want him to unmask himself,
Right.
but he won't because not only just because he's African American, because he knows what that will do to the brand, but also because there's that whole idea that the Mr. Miracle identity is part of the trick. And like,
interesting.
There's this, they do this great parallel between him as a black man and him as Mr. Miracle, and how both of their identities are a prison they can never escape from.
Oh shit! Yeah. Huh. Wow, that actually sounds like there's... See, I didn't pick up that book because I'm like, man, it's Mr. Miracle. What could be going on in that? So you're telling me there's actually a lot going on in this book.
Going on in that book.
Okay, you might have made a sale on that one. That actually sounds pretty dope. I mean, it sounds, horrifying from a philosophical standpoint, but it sounds like really good drama for a story.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out then. So, yeah, that's everything we read this week. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for coming and joining us, not just in one place, but on two. All 48 people on YouTube and all 19 people on Twitch. We'll have to keep this up because this is very fun and very cool, and I'm glad we got to do this.
I see a lot of new faces, or new in that your YouTube name is probably different to your Twitch name.
Exactly,
But yes, thank you, everyone, for coming out and coming out for this new look of the show and everything.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everyone who subscribed. Thank you to A. Carter for your very generous donation. That was very nice. As always, if you're a patron, you'll be able to get the audio and video version of this before anyone else. And this one, this is a week that this show will be put up on the channel, so you can look forward to that.
We're still trying to test all that sort of stuff out.
Again, bear with us on that. We're going to see how that one goes because I keep getting conflicting information from everyone. I talked to Thorgy about it. I'm like, are you feeling the pinch from the longer content? He's like, no, not really. But then again, Thorgy, I think, does more longer content to begin with. So, and thank you to Betsuman. You are the Betsuman. So yeah, so we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna experiment. Maybe we'll just chop up the news for a week and put it out on other channels. We'll figure it out. Here's the thing. I actually uploaded the video version of the show to my backup channel. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just put it on the backup channels now. Maybe I'll be that guy because I wasn't like that far from being able to turn on monetization. That one, I think I need like 500 more subscribers, but only like 50 more hours of viewership. It's a thing. So, I'm closer than that. We might do that. We'll see. Just bear with us. We'll try and keep you up to date as much as we can. But again, if you're a patron, if you can donate in any way, it means the world to us in these trying times for, when YouTube kind of gets their shit together. And we promise that, as long as Matt and I are together, we're going to keep trying to give you, the content that you crave.
Yeah, we've got, obviously, the merch store. We've got a link that should pop up every now and then on the screen for Wild Bill's soda.
Soda, yes, craft soda, delicious, great for summertime. Catch the flavor. It's good shit. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll be back again next week.
See you, everyone.